Good morning, Internet. This is the old fat dad, and today we are not on the Goober Nation gun range. There's been a ton of rain recently, and the range is officially a swamp now, so we're gonna have to wait till it dries out to get back down there. But I still wanted to bring you a video. Today, I want to talk about different choices for 22 LR ammo and squirrel hunting. Before we take a look at that ammo though, let's talk about a couple assumptions I'm going to make. So, first assumption, we are shooting these squirrels with the intention of eating them. This is important because if you're just shooting squirrels as a pest animal to get rid of, you don't really care about shot placement too much. You just want to make sure they die a quick death. So we are more interested in saving as much meat as possible so we can make a delicious dish out of them. And with that assumption in place, I'm going to assume we're going for headshots on our squirrels. So our target is very small. We'll say 1 inch is probably the biggest diameter of a circle that we want to hit. Second assumption I'm going to make with my skills in mind, I personally do not want to hunt squirrels beyond about 50 yards-ish. They move too quickly, they're too small of a target. I don't feel like I can make a good shot beyond that range. So, with those two assumptions together, that 1 inch diameter circle, the 50 yards, that's gonna be our absolute minimum standard of accuracy for any ammo we choose. So anything I'm talking about today has to hit that 1 inch at 50 yards minimum. First round we're going to talk about is in the hyper velocity class of 22 LR ammo. I show you here we've got the CCI Velocity. So this one is a 40 grain bullet rated at 1435 feet per second. This round is scooting for a 22 round. It is powerful, it hits hard. I say it's the most exciting because people love hard-hitting, splashy rounds, and the Velocity will absolutely do that. From my testing, 25 yards, 50 yards, even 100 yards, this thing has some excellent terminal performance. What you get in performance terminally though, you give up a little bit in accuracy. So out of the 3 different types of ammo I'm going to show you today, this is probably the least accurate, but the accuracy is not terrible. We were getting about a 1 inch group at 100 yards, and that doesn't shrink down to a ½ inch consistently at 50 yards, but it's pretty close. And there they are, top to bottom. That first one is a little bit wild there, a little bit spread out, but we tightened up a good bit on the second one. And the third one looks just about as good as that second one as well. You have to be very sure about your headshot, otherwise with this kind of stuff, you're not going to have much left over to use. Our last round was interesting because of its power levels. Now, this next one is interesting because of how expensive it is. But you do get something for that extra expense. This is Eley's Subsonic hollow point ammo. It is a match grade type of ammo that has been adapted for hunting. So it is going to be in the standard velocity subsonic levels of speed. In past testing with the Eley Subsonic hollow point, I've gotten some pretty amazing groups down to about a 1/4 inch at 50 yards. So this will definitely do the trick. And then we got even better here on our third group. Definitely within that 1/4 size. Probably 1/4 inch group at 50 without this guy, and you know, who knows what that was, me, gun, ammo, hard to tell, but even with that in there, we've got a decent group for headshotting squirrels. With that hollow point too, it should have some pretty good terminal performance as well. I've done a little bit of testing on this and I haven't seen amazing results, but I guess you could say it's better than just a regular old round nose if that's important to you. This is the one that hit kind of in the corner, and as you can see, it opened up a good bit more than the other one. So we're seeing some pretty darn good expansion there, in there, and it goes in there a little ways. And finally we have a round that is not super fast, not super powerful, not super expensive, but I think makes for a really good squirrel round. That is the CCI Standard Velocity. This is just a regular old lead round nose bullet. It's 40 grains, it's going around 1,000 feet per second. Nothing fancy about this particular round. Besides that, it's incredibly consistent. The accuracy that I have gotten has always been below that half-inch at 50 yards. In addition to being very accurate, it is not expensive. So this is much cheaper than the last two rounds we looked at. But you're definitely not going to get very exciting terminal performance out of the CCI Standard Velocity. It is just a standard round lead-nosed bullet. There's no hollow point, there's no extreme speeds. When you hit something, you just put a 22 sized hole through it. In, out, and just a nice smooth round channel all the way through. And on top of all that, the cherry on top of this pie is that it is relatively cheap. So I'm not worried about spending a ton of money. And if you don't have a ton of money to spend on squirrel hunting ammo, and really squirrel hunting should be kind of a budget hunting opportunity, then this really fills that role well. I'll tell you guys a secret as well. When I go squirrel hunting, the CCI Standard Velocity is what I use most times, and it has performed perfectly for me. I have access to a lot of different types of ammo, and I've tried a lot of different types of ammo out there, but I pretty much always come back to the CCI Standard Velocity when I head out to the squirrel woods. So now you tell me what you think. What is your go-to ammo for squirrel hunting? Do you go with the super fast hyper velocity rounds? Do you like to make big hits and know that you're taking that big old squirrel down? Or do you like to spend a little bit more money, get that match grade accuracy, and feel like if there is any shots that don't hit, it's not because the ammo, it's because maybe you made a mistake? Or are you more of a frugal, cheap, old fat dad like me, and you go with that good old tried and true CCI Standard Velocity that you know is probably going to be accurate enough and you're not going to break the bank shooting a bunch of it? I'm interested to hear what you guys think. And that about wraps it up for me. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.